If there's a moment capable of freezing time, perhaps it's the one when the heart recognizes a face, before the mind remembers who it is. That's exactly what happened to Lee Hana. She stood by the seaside, the cold wind slicing her skin, her hair wild and tangled, when her eyes landed on that man. He was just a few feet away, standing still, staring at her as if he'd seen a ghost. And for a second, something inside her cracked, though she didn't know what or why. But no words came out, not even his name. 2 months earlier, Hana woke up in a hospital, surrounded by strangers. A nurse held her hand gently, but the anxious look of a woman beside her said everything. "Do you remember me, sweetheart? I'm your mother." But no. Hana remembered nothing, not the woman, not herself. A car crash, a violent rollover. The driver had fled, and she was found unconscious, with an engagement ring clutched in her hand and a blank note in her coat pocket. The police never found her fiancé, or the person responsible. For weeks, Hana felt like a stranger in her own skin. Her home, her photos, her belongings, nothing brought back a real memory. Just vague sensations, scattered flashes, like she had lived another life, in another time. So she decided to run. Run from the questions. Run from the guilt in her mother's eyes. Run from the ache of not knowing whether she had been betrayed, abandoned, or forgotten by someone who once promised forever. She chose a small coastal town in the south, quiet, distant. There, she found work restoring old paintings in a nearly forgotten gallery, owned by a kind old man who didn't ask questions. It was exactly what she needed, until she met him. Kang Jun was the kind of man who looked like he carried the weight of the world on his shoulders. Quiet, serious, polite. He taught Korean literature at the local school and lived for his younger sister, Soo-ah, a hearing-impaired teen with a rare emotional intelligence. The first time he walked into the gallery was to pick up an old family painting. When he saw Hana, he froze. His eyes widened for a second, as if struck by lightning. "You're new here?" he asked softly. She smiled, a little embarrassed. "I guess I am. New in every way." He simply nodded, but he lingered. More than necessary. He looked at the paintings, the dusty books on the shelf, the sea through the window, and before he left, he accidentally dropped a business card. In the following days, he came back again. And again. Each meeting was filled with silence. But not an empty silence, the kind that screams. Hana felt it. She sensed something strange, like he knew something about her, or worse, like she had once loved him. But the memories never came. Not with dreams, not with sense, not with touch. One evening, Soo-ah showed up alone at the gallery, crying. She had lost her mother's necklace and was afraid to tell her brother. Hana comforted her, wrote on paper, and promised to help. And that created the missing bond. After that, June began to trust Hana. They spent more time together, walking by the sea, talking about books, the seasons, the passage of time, but never the past. Until one day, while walking, Hana stumbled upon something half buried in the sand. A broken picture frame with a torn canvas. The image, a lonely tree facing the ocean. She froze, her eyes filled with tears. "I know this," she whispered. June looked at her, his fists clenched. "Are you sure?" She stared back at him with a mix of confusion and fear. "You know who I am, don't you?" He looked away. "I think it's time I tell you everything. My name is Kang Jun. And yes, I know who you are, Hana." The wind seemed to stop for a moment. His words hung in the air like a verdict. Hana took a step back, searching inside herself for a memory, a connection, anything that could confirm what he was saying. But nothing surfaced. "How?" she asked, her voice almost a whisper. He exhaled deeply, his gaze distant. 3 years ago, I worked at a cultural foundation that funded restoration projects in Seoul. That's where I met you. You were brilliant, one of the youngest restorers they'd ever hired, and you were engaged to one of the project's major investors, Minho. That name. It sent a cold chill through her body. Her chest tightened. He was my fiancé? June nodded slowly, pain swimming behind his eyes. Yes, but he was also part of something much darker than you ever knew. Hana's voice trembled. What do you mean? He was involved in a forgery ring. He used restoration work as a cover, stealing originals, replacing them with perfect replicas. And you were the perfect tool. Innocent, talented, trusted. You never knew the truth. She staggered a bit, clutching the torn frame tighter in her hands. No, that can't be true. I tried to warn you, but before I could act, Minho found out. He threatened me, said he'd destroy your life if I spoke up. And then? The night everything changed. I went to the studio. You were already there, crying. You had found out something. You said you were leaving him. You wanted to disappear. Then Minho arrived. There was shouting. A fight broke out. You were there? Yes, I tried to break it up, but he fell. Hit his head. I panicked. I thought he was dead. I didn't know what to do. So I put him in his car. I was going to turn myself in. But when I returned, he was gone. Hana's heart was racing. Gone? You just left him there? I was in shock. I tried to find you, but you had already left. Then came the accident and the hospital. When I saw you had no memory, I thought, maybe this was a second chance, a life without pain, without him. Hana looked like she might collapse. You took away my truth. I thought I was protecting you. No, you were protecting yourself. She turned away, breathing hard. The ocean roared behind her, echoing the storm inside her chest. That night, Hana couldn't sleep. She pulled out the blank note found in her coat pocket after the accident. Just a white sheet, until she rubbed it gently with a pencil. Faint words began to appear. If you're reading this, maybe you no longer remember me. But know this. Everything I did was out of love. Please forgive me. The handwriting looked familiar. But was it Minho's? June's? Her own? That night, she had a dream. The studio. Minho yelling, Hana crying, June shouting, trying to stop him, a glass object shattering, a struggle, rain outside, screeching tires, a scream. She woke up gasping, hands trembling. Was that real? A dream? Or a piece of her lost memory trying to return? She returned to June's house. Sua opened the door, visibly anxious. Hana climbed the stairs to the attic, the quiet place where June always read and painted. And there it was, a painting. The same tree from the beach, the same painting, but this one, intact, untouched, framed perfectly. Her voice was steady but low. You said you didn't know what happened to Minho. So why do you have the painting from that night? June appeared in the doorway, pale, silent. He gave it to me, a day before everything happened. You expect me to believe that? I swear it. He said it was the last original he'd ever keep, told me to hide it, just in case. And you never thought to tell me? June stepped closer, his voice cracking. I was trying to protect what we had. I thought if I told you, you'd disappear again. And maybe I should. She looked him in the eyes, tears welling. But I can't deny it. Even with everything I've heard, I'm still falling in love with you. His expression softened. He stepped closer, held her gently. And I've loved you since the moment I saw you again, even when you didn't remember me. They stood in silence, hearts full of truth, but futures uncertain. Downstairs, Sua watched them from the shadows, and she knew something they didn't. The embrace between Hana and June lasted several long seconds, but one small voice shattered the moment. Sua stood on the staircase, tears rolling down her cheeks, a small red notebook shaking in her hands. She began signing furiously. June turned quickly. "Sua, what's wrong?" Her voice trembled as she tried to speak aloud despite her difficulty. "You lied, Appa. You lied to her." Hana froze. "What is she saying?" Sua held out the notebook. On the page was a single sentence, written in jagged, emotional handwriting. "You pushed Minho that night." Silence. June turned pale. "Sua, it's not like that." But Hana was already stepping back. The notebook felt like it burned in her hands. "Is it true? Did you kill him?" June's voice was barely audible. "I didn't mean to. He was going to hurt you. I lost control. I just wanted him to stop." He stumbled, hit his head. I panicked. I thought he was dead, so I put him in the car. I was going to call for help. But when I came back, he was gone. "You left him there? Unconscious?" "I didn't know what to do. I couldn't find you. You had already driven away. You crashed. You lost your memory. And when I saw you in the hospital, I thought maybe it was destiny. A second chance. A clean slate. For you. Not for me." Her voice cracked. "You built your life on top of my pain." Sua was sobbing quietly now. "I saw everything. I didn't speak because I didn't want to lose you either. I just wanted to see you smile again, Appa." Hana looked at them both, the man she had fallen for and the sister who had watched it all in silence. Then she walked away. That night, Hana went back to the sea. The waves were loud, angry. The sky above her was dark, but the moonlight flickered across the water like whispers of forgotten memories. She fell to her knees on the shore, screaming into the wind. "Minho, where are you?" And just as if fate had been waiting, the tide rolled in something strange, a piece of driftwood, weathered, smoothed by the sea. On it, a faint engraving. "You never truly knew me, but I always loved you in my own way. M." Hana froze. Her breath caught. Minho. Was he alive? Was this real? Or just another ghost of a life she could no longer reach? Days later, Hana left town. She left the gallery. She left Sua, and she left June, but not without a letter. "June, I loved you. Maybe I still do. But love built on secrets is too fragile to hold. You gave me pieces of a life I never asked for, and took from me the truth I deserved. If one day I remember everything, maybe I'll return. But if I don't, please understand, it's not because I forgot. It's because I chose to begin again." Hana. Epilogue. 2 years later, a new exhibition opened in a modern coastal gallery. Among dozens of pieces, one caught everyone's attention, a large painting of a single tree by the sea, blooming, bright, alive. A small plaque read, "1,000 seasons until you." Artist, L.H. Among the crowd, a man in a dark coat stood silently, hands behind his back. A small scar traced the side of his neck. He smiled. Before leaving, he dropped a card near the painting. A staff member picked it up. There was no name, only one sentence. "Thank you for letting me live in your memory. M." Now tell us, who do you believe? Was June a protector or a liar? Did Minho survive? Or was it Hana's mind creating closure? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, because some love stories never really end, they just change form.